Hello, Dari. So, today I want to tell you a story that has been on my mind about the Leeches. Part 1. The Seed of Goodness. Abiola was a man carved from kindness. From his secondary school days in Abeokuta, he had always been the one to stretch his lunch money to feed others. As he grew older, so did his heart. By 35, he had become so successful in Lagos, dealing in digital real estate and app development. But while his pockets grew heavy, his soul remained light, too light. He built a house in Lekki Phase 1 and bought his mother from the village to live with him. He got his younger sister a car, paid for his cousin's master's degree in the UK. Even his old secondary school class captain, now a failed politician, came knocking and left with 2 million naira to bounce back. They all called him Abiola the Helper. But what they really meant was Abiola the Feeder. And like hungry thieves, they latched on. He thought they loved him until they began to multiply. Then his bleeding began. He started small. His cousin Tunji, who had helped escape a failed marriage in Ibadan, asked to stay with him just for a month. 6 months later, Tunji had turned his guest room into a studio apartment. No job, no effort, just vibes and PS5. His younger sister, Ronke, began to send her friends to Abiola. One needed help with rent, another needed capital, a third, her church friend, needed money for IVF. All requests, no returns. They cried, he paid. He told himself, God blesses the giver, but even God must have limits. One night, after giving his uncle 250,000 to fix his generator, Abiola sat in his dark living room sweating. NEPA had taken light. His own generator had died 2 weeks ago. No one offered to help him fix it. Yet, every week, more calls came in. Abiola, please. Abiola, just this once. Abiola, you are the one we trust. He was bleeding. Slowly, steadily, like a goat prepared for ritual. The unseen marks were even shown on his body. He began to change. He looked in the mirror and saw something odd. His eyes were red, not from tears, but something deeper. His skin seemed pale, not from illness, but from emptiness. He was always tired, and no matter how much he slept, he woke up feeling more drained. His dreams became strange. He saw shadows, familiar faces, sucking on his limbs with invisible mouths. He would scream, but no voice would come out. Every morning, he would wake up with phantom eyes, bite marks that vanished within minutes. At first, he dismissed it until the day he woke up to find actual blood on his pillow. He screamed, called Ronke, called Tunji, called mommy. They said it was stress. Maybe he scratched himself at night. He should pray. So he prayed, but the prayers felt like whispers in a storm. The leeches were then revealed. One evening, he decided to go through his bank account. In just 18 months, over 45 million naira had left his account to friends and family. That night, he turned off his phone. The next day, his front door was banged down by a woman he barely knew, Ronke's friend. who shouted, "Curse!" and claimed he had promised her 500k for her salon. "Madam, I no get," he shouted from the balcony. She spat and called him a fraud, a user, a deceiver. "You go die poor," she swore. From that day, more curses came. One morning, he woke up with boils on his neck. Another day, he found a goat skull at his gate. His dog died. His car brake failed. Small, small, his life began to collapse. Then came the hallucinations, or what he thought were hallucinations. One night, he found Tunji standing over at his bed at 2 a.m. staring. "Why are you watching me?" Abiola asked, but Tunji just smiled and whispered, "You are almost ripe." Ripe? The final dream came. Abiola began to lose control of his body. His skin started peeling like he was bleeding. Doctors found nothing wrong. Therapists blamed burnout. Pastors blamed village witches. But Abiola had another theory. They were the witches, all of them. One night, he set up a camera in his room. The next morning, he played back the footage. He watched in horror as his mother walked in around 3:22 a.m. She knelt beside his bed. Her eyes were glowing white. She placed her hand on his chest, and from her mouth came a long dark tongue like a snake. It pressed on his chest and he jolted but didn't work. Then Tunji came in, then Ronke, then a fourth person, a shadowy figure without a face. They all knelt down and began chanting a language Abiola had never heard. One by one, they licked his skin. Where their tongues touched, his flesh darkened. He fell to the floor, screaming. But when he turned around, no one was there. The next night, he didn't sleep. He hid in the corridor, machetes in hand. When they came again, they found an empty bed. He never let them finish the ritual, and he had to find a way to escape. Abiola ran, left the house, left his business, went to a prayer mountain in Akure, slept in the open air, ate only fruit, fasted for 21 days. He refused to speak to anybody, changed his number, burnt his SIM card, and slowly felt himself return. The dream stopped, the bleeding stopped, but the scars remain. He became like a walking dead. It has been 3 years since Abiola left Lagos. He now lives in a small compound in Calabar, growing vegetables and keeping to himself. But the horror hasn't ended. Every now and then, he sees strangers watching him. Some look like Ronke, some like Tunji, others faceless. They don't speak, they just smile, waiting, because they know once you have been leech, you are never truly free. They took something more than money. They took his